นเกลียดรู้กินเหล้าจนเกลียดเลิกเหล้าทำงานเก็บเงินทำงานเก็บเงินใช้หนี้ทำงานเก็บเงินได้เรียนมีกินช่วยเหลือผ่องใสเมียรักอบอุ่นไม่ป่วยรวยปัญญาพัฒนาฉลาดชาติเจริญไปถึงไหนแล้วก็ไม่รู้แค่เลิกเหล้า
Hello everyone and welcome to another live stream here at Breakout Solutions and Decrypting Crypto. My name is Wasim and I'm your host again today, coming to you guys with the latest updates of this week's news highlights, Twitter highlights, market updates, as well as adoption highlights. As always, guys, we always have a range of good and bad news, keeping you guys up to date with what's going on out there in the cryptoverse. So without any further ado, let's get started and have a look at the first article for today. So today's first article is payment giant PayPal invest in new crypto wallet software in push for Web3 adoption. So this is obviously a big move by PayPal. You guys know we've been speaking about this for a while. PayPal has been making a lot of moves in the crypto world over the past couple of years. They've now allowing people to be able to hold, buy some cryptos and so forth. Now they're investing in a very large American company called Matic, which is a wallet as a service provider, and they've raised $52 million in PayPal's ventures. Now, this company's been around since 2018, and their main goal is to facilitating a safe and simple solution. Matic Wallet Creation Service allows companies to reach millions of users on their apps and onboard customers who are new to Web3. We're proud to be investing in Matic and believe the company will help drive the growing number of Web3 use cases amongst global brands. So this is big news coming out from straight from PayPal. Also, these guys will help some pretty large companies, including Immutable X and some other Web3 companies, and they've also helped other companies give their people or their community, I should say, give their community access to wallets. The one thing I don't like about this is that it seems to be some form of KYC. So they've got to register an email or something like that to be able to open up a wallet. So that's probably one thing I don't like. But when it comes to PayPal, it is something that they need because you KYC when you have a PayPal account. Anyway, so if it gets adopted into PayPal, it doesn't make a difference. Next up, we've got, and this is a good news story, in my opinion. It's actually a story that I'm very, very excited about. I saw this happening a couple of days ago on Twitter. The Bitcoin Standard author becomes economic advisor to El Salvador. As you guys know, I love El Salvador. I love hearing about all the great things that they're doing. And now they have actually hired Dr. Saifuddin Amos, who is the author of the Bitcoin Standard, the Fiat Standard, economic something. He's a big Austrian economist educator. He's got courses. He's got his own books, and he wrote the Bitcoin Standard, where he talks about what the world would look like if we were on a Bitcoin Standard, what the Bitcoin Standard would look like if someone was to take it on. Now, the great news is, and this is where the big news is, he has now been hired by Nayib Bukele and El Salvador to be the economic advisor. This is great. And one of the first things that he said was about the deal and how excited he is about it. And he also said that El Salvador will be debt free in 5 years if they keep acquiring Bitcoin. This is huge. Like, this is massive news for the next 5 years of Bitcoin, because these guys are going to show the world how it's done. How they're going to become debt free, how they're going to turn the country around, and they're really doing some great work. They're changing the world right now. I'm actually really excited. This is massive news out there. All right, next up we have the Bitcoin mining hash rate. It goes over $50 trillion for the first time ever. So the difficulty hash rate, for those of you who don't know, is how hard it is to be able to find a Bitcoin or to be awarded a Bitcoin. So the blockchain makes it harder and harder for the miners to find Bitcoin. As more and more miners come in, the harder it gets. Think about it if you're mining for gold and there's a lot of people mining, it becomes harder and harder to find because there's a lot of people looking for it. So the more and more miners are coming in, the harder and harder it gets, which makes the value of Bitcoin go up. Now, this has not stopped miners from getting out, because sometimes if it gets too hard, some miners will start turning their machines off because it's too difficult for them, and that usually regulates and brings down the hash rate. So it can go up and down, but we can see that the Bitcoin hash rate and the difficulty to get a Bitcoin is getting harder and harder all the time. Let's look at the crypto bubbles. If this thing decides to load. All right, and we're seeing a mix of green and red this week. We're seeing Pepe's down. Well, I saw Pepe. Pepe's down another 9.3%. Hex is down, but you see some of the large coins like Sol, Solana, Engine, Sandbox, Quant, Filecoin. Some of these XRPs up. There's a mix of green and red this week in the crypto world. Bitcoin is been on the up and up over the past 24 hours, and it's up, I think, it's up 1%, and it's over the 27,000. So look, we've been playing. I'm sure you guys seen Matt's videos. He goes into this a lot more detail than I do, but we've been playing between the 25 and 30k range for a while. It's only a matter of time before we have a move either way. Last but not least, we are still right in the middle of neutral. The market is neutral right now about crypto. We've been neutral for a few weeks now. Last month we were in green, but now the market is undecided. Let's move over to the Twitter highlights. And what we've got here in the Twitter highlights from Watcher.guru is that the US Senate passes debt ceiling bill. So for the first time ever, okay, and I'm going to open up the article for this. This was the first time ever that the US was actually facing a default, which means the credit rating goes down. It means they can't borrow any more money. It means they can't pay their bills. So what they have done, because they've reached their debt ceiling, they're getting more and more in debt all the time, and they'll get to a point where they can't get any more debt. It means they can't pay, and this was a problem. We spoke about this last month. We spoke about, Janet Yellen was saying that they don't raise the debt ceiling, they could face default by by early June. I think there was different dates, like 1st, 6th, mid, but June was definitely a date where the US could default on their debt. Now, what they turned around and did, well, they said, hey, let's just borrow more money. But then the funny thing, they celebrated like it's a win. It's a big win for America, Biden. Another tweet by Biden goes, just now, Senate from both parties voted to protect our hard-earned economy, progress, and prevent first ever default. Now, I don't know about you, but borrowing more money and increasing the debt that people have is not a win for me. If you're in so much debt that you're to your eyeballs in debt, and the only way you can get out of debt is by getting to more debt, doesn't sound right. So now they're going to even more debt and getting the American people to pay more for their pondering. Next up, what do we got? We've got here Altcoin Daily, and they're talking about Web3 gaming. And they're saying that Web3 gaming means digital scarcity, ownership and control, interoperability between games and platforms, transparency and availability in game economy, which is a monetization opportunity. So when you combine that with AI, VR, AR, and user interfaces, it becomes a more semantic web, which means the revolution has only started. So you guys would have seen in the last bull run, the gaming coins were going crazy, and now they're talking about it again. So we're coming to the next bull run, which means a lot of these things are going to come back into play. Last one for the Twitter highlights today, we've got we've got an article here. Apple customers say it's hard to get money out of Goldman Sachs savings account. Some say it's taken weeks to withdraw their money, and the bank's instructions have differed. So if you guys remember, we spoke about this a little while ago, where we said that Apple was giving their users a reward card, like an Apple card, which is an Apple debit card, which is connected to Goldman Sachs. And Apple is rewarding their customers with actual money. Now they're complaining they can't get their money out of the banks. Okay, so we've seen how hard we've seen what's happened in the banking sector and how hard it's been hit this year, especially over the past few months. And now another bank is having problems, looks like, not giving their customers money. So that's another one. Last, and now we're moving over to the adoption highlights. Japan's largest airline launches NFT marketplace. So Japan's largest airline has launched its own marketplace where they're going to be selling some of their own memorabilia, including some air photography of some of their planes. And what they're doing with the first collection is they're actually giving away the actual photo, like the film, the actual original film of those photos. So it's quite interesting how innovative. You buy the NFT, but you actually get the negative of that photo of that NFT. So you actually own both and no one can reproduce it again. It's a really, really cool idea they're doing, but it just shows the use cases that are available out there for NFTs. Another big one here, Bitcoin. Cuba Bitcoin's community hosts Bitcoin-only meetup. So this is the first time they've had a Bitcoin-only meetup in Cuba. Cuba is a socialist society and it's a very centralized society. So a lot of things are owned by the government. But now they're starting to loosen up. And these guys are from all ages, from teenagers to grandmothers to doctors to whatever. And they've come together now to discuss Bitcoin and the future of Bitcoin. But it's a big win because it is showing that even in a socialist society, people still turning towards crypto and Bitcoin as for financial freedom. So people are starting to realize this, and more Cubans are turning to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. T-Mobile, this is another big one. T-Mobile parent company becomes a validator on the Polygon Matic network. So the parent company is one of the biggest source providers in the US and becoming validator on the layer 2 scaling network Polygon. They have said that they are also validators on other chains, including Ethereum, Flow, Chainlink, Celo, and Q. So they are getting bigger and more into crypto and into blockchain technology because they see the future of it. That's it for me, guys. Next time you'll see me, we'll be coming to you guys from Bali. So Michael and I and Matt are going to Bali next week. We'll be coming to you guys straight from Bali on location and giving you guys updates. Until then, have a great weekend. And as I always say, stay crypto. Peace out.